Hey, welcome back everybody. Today we'll be painting these two Athearn blue box covered hopper cars. We'll be making Fayette landmark cars out of two of them. And I got K4 decals and stuff. So let's get started. We're going to repaint these to something local to me, kinda. Fayette Landmark, Washington Courthouse, Ohio. I don't believe it goes by that name anymore, but years ago it did when I was younger. And I grew up on this line. So kind of some train cars that would have ran on the line I grew up on when I was younger, when I was a kid, I guess. So I thought it'd be cool. Like I said, I don't believe they have used this name anymore there. So they're going to be red on the ends here, red top, black hoppers on the bottom, and then both ends will be red, and then white in the center here. And I think that's about it. I've got them taken apart, got the walkways off and all that. I think I'll paint the walkways like a galvanized steel looking color or something. So these are K4 decals. Nice decals. So he makes this set. It's a 2-car set. So they turn out really nice. I'll make some more, I think. We used to have a Clinton landmark in Wilmington where I grew up at. And it'd be cool if I could find some of the decals to make maybe some of their cars. So I don't, they changed their name too. So Landmark's gone, I think, now. So, but I thought it'd be cool to have something that actually ran on the line I grew up on. And since I do a lot of Indiana and Ohio stuff, this would be cool to run with my Indiana and Ohio train because they actually operate that line now. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get these cleaned up and then primered, and I'll show you the progress. All right, I got everything primered. The primer I use is just that Rust-Oleum automotive primer. I put like 2 coats on the shells themselves to cover up that old lettering really good. Everything else just got a nice light coat. So I got the shells done. Everything else primered, the ends, the tops. Let's see. And then all this is primered. It's going to be black. So the hatches will be black. Those will be like a galvanized steel look, a silver of some kind. And then those will be a red with white in the center areas here. So probably what I'll do is tape them off a little bit, paint the red, then let that dry, and then tape off the red and paint the white. So, and these pieces here will be red. I think I'm going to do those hatches maybe in a off-white of some color maybe or something. That way they're a little different. And then I had to cut out these little pieces here, 2 for each car. And when I get it all painted and stuff, they'll get glued on these ribs here for where that L goes. So that L will get decaled right on top of those pieces there. So the paint's going to use just cheap craft paint and the airbrush, black. And then this red here. It's nice red. I like this red. And then I've always found out when you spray whites, at least when I spray white in an airbrush, I use the titanium white. It sprays a lot better. If you just buy the basic white, it sometimes doesn't spray well. I don't know why. But I found that the titanium white actually sprays really good. So I'll get that all painted and tape off those areas and repaint that white on the center of the cars. And then I'll put a light coat of clear, and that'll be it. Then it'll be ready for decal. All right, I got these cars painted. well, partly painted. I got the red. Got the red painted. Now we got to paint the white. And I got this one taped off and ready. So I just used this, was it Tamiya masking tape. This stuff works really great. So I just tape the edges with it, and then the rest with the blue painter's paint. So should give some nice good lines with that tape. The blue tape usually doesn't leave good lines, so use that other tape. It's a lot better. So we'll get these painted white, and then the other pieces are primered, and I'm going to paint those too. So I'll show you the progress. Alright, I got these cars all painted with a coat of clear over them. So I just used Rust-Oleum like flat clear. So they've been drying for a little while, so I'm going to put these all together. So they turned out nice. No real bright colors. So got the red and white, the blacks, top hatches, kind of an off-white color, and the walkway is like a silverish, almost galvanized color, kind of silver, that gray primer. So it's a gray silver of some sort. Looks good. So everything's clear coated. Been drying for a while. So now I'm gonna put them all together, and then let them dry overnight, and then decal them. All right, everybody, I got them all put together and ready for decaling. I went ahead and put them together. So I didn't put the couplers on yet, so I'm probably gonna take those bottoms off and glue them in. So look pretty good, I think. They don't look new. The color of paint I used with a little bit of bleed through on the white kind of made it look old, which I wanted. That's why I like this red. It doesn't look brand new. It's got an older look to it. So if I do a little bit of weathering with the chalks, it'll make it easier if I decide to do that. So here's the decals. And I think these are K4 decals. Yes, K4 decals. So I'll put those on. Alright, I'll show you the progress we got. Almost done decaling. So we got the side done there, everything, and decals go down on the hoppers there, or on the bottom of the hoppers. And the other side. So what I did was, I just got one side left to do on the one car here. What I did was decaled one side on each car, let it dry overnight, and then that way they dry and they won't move around on you when you flip it on, when I put it in my cradle here, so I don't have to worry about them moving around. So now I decaled the other side. I got both sides done on this car, and the number boards that up there on the end, on both ends. So I clear coated these cars after I paint them before I decaled them, and most of the time the clear coat I use is the Rust-Oleum matte clear. I like that stuff, works good. And some people use the gloss before they put decals on. I don't like the gloss. I don't like them to look shiny. And I know if you spray it with the matte clear after you put the gloss down, it will kill the shine a little bit. But I like them to look pretty dull. As you can see, that locomotive back here I got, it's real dull. So I like the dull look. You know, I have like the royal blue over there. I think I have a little like a satin finish on it. It's a little bit more shinier, just because it's a royal blue and it's a good looking locomotive. So like I said, I clear coated them, then start decaling, and then use the micro sole, put a little bit on before I put the decal on. And then after they set up for a little while and start drying after about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, then I go back across with the micro set. That way they lay down nice and good, and you know, any rivets or anything like that, they'll go around it and conform to it, which is nice. Let's see, I've got my warm water ready. So I got all my decals cut out here, and these are K4 decals, really good decals. But I cut them, trimmed them down so they fit in between the slots where the ribs are of the car, so there ain't no decal film overhanging any of those ribs, and you know, it makes it easier to set them straight in there where they need to be, and you ain't got all that extra material hanging over. So I had to cut them out so they fit in between those ribs good. And then I got the L here for landmark, and it goes on. I made these little signboards, or whatever you want to call them, that go on the side of the cars, like that one is there. So I made them all the same size, and then I'll put the decal on this. Then I usually take some of my super glue gel and just put it on a toothpick, and just put a little bit on a couple of those ribs where it's going to go, and place it on there and measure it with my little ruler and make sure it's pretty much the same as the others. It's like when I'll start with the K on this car over here and work my way backwards decaling. So what I'll do is set the K, get the K, set it on here. After it's been in the water and stuff, and I pull it off the paper backing, I'll set it on there, get about where I want, and then I'll take my little measure, or a little thing I got over there I measure with, ruler or whatever, and get the heightness. I'll measure like the bottom of the K, how far it is from the bottom of the car here, and set that one. And then I just usually eyeball going across, and then maybe when I get to the end, check them, make sure it's all the same height, and they have been. I usually just eyeball everything, because if it looks good with the eyeball, then it's probably good. So what I do is soak these in warm water for a few, I don't know, minute or two. Put a little micro sole in there with a Q-tip before I apply the decal. And then I put the decal on, get it where I want it, let it set up, let it dry for about 5-10 minutes. And then go back over across the top of them with a little bit of the micro set, which I really don't think it matters. I think this stuff's both, I think it's the same stuff. I'm not sure. It smells like vinegar. I think that's all that's in there. It's vinegar. That's what it smells like. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's all in there. But if you read the bottles, one says setting solution for decals. Setting solution for decals softens decals to conform irregular surfaces. This one softens decals and improves adhesion. Well, maybe I should set this one first. Decal remover. I don't know. I don't think it really matters, because they both smell like vinegar. I think that's all that stuff's made out of. But I'm not sure. If anybody knows, leave down in the comments. I'm not sure what the ingredients are in this stuff. So, getting really low. I had to order some more. So, let me apply some of these decals, as you've seen in some of my other videos how I did it. So, I'll show you the progress here when we get some on. Alright, let's show you how to put one of these decals on here real quick, if you haven't seen me do it yet. I guess I'll just use the micro sole. I read the bottles, it really doesn't matter. Just put a little bit on your Q-tip, put a little bit down on the area you're going to put it on, and then you got the decal I need, the end, and then work it loose here with my thumbnail a little bit. There we go. And then just stick it on there. Ever hanging off there a little bit. Well, I'll push it back on there. I'll pull it off with my Q-tip. Get rid of my paper. And then just move it around with the toothpick. These decals are nice because, like some of the micro scale decals, when you're trying to move them around, sometimes you'll tear them with this. These seem to be maybe just a hair thicker, so a lot nicer, and they lay down really good. So just move it around where you want it, a little bit at a time. And I think that's probably about right. Looks good. Maybe twist a little bit. I think so. Then I'll take the dry end of my Q-tip, just lightly dab it. Usually start in the middle and work your way to the ends of the decal. Help get any bubbles or anything out of it if there's any in there. And then make sure it looks good, because you can move them when you're trying to dry them off, dry some of that liquid off of them with the Q-tip. There. Now let's let it sit and dry. And then when you get this whole section done, and then let them sit for a few minutes, and I'll go back over with the micro set, and I'll just put some on my Q-tip, like this one has it. And I just lightly dab it right over top of them. Sorry, my heater just kicked on. You don't have to soak them or nothing, because if you get them really wet, it'll slide around again. Just a little bit of that. Usually what I do is a section, let them dry for a few minutes, then go back over them with the micro set. So that's all it is to it. Pretty simple. Just take your time, get them lined up, make sure you got them lined up where you want them, and just let them dry. So I'm gonna finish this. I gotta do the ones that go in here, the rest of that. A few here and a few here, and be done. So these ones are taking me a little bit longer than normal than some of the other stuff I've done. So you can see the locomotive over there only has numbers on it, so that was an easy one, and some other things. So these are being cut out like this. They've been flat, and I could just cut that whole decal out and stick it right on there. It took no time, but being like this, it took a bit longer because I had to cut them all out. Alright everybody, I got these all decaled, let them dry overnight, and then cleared them. 2 light coats of clear. I used that Rust-Oleum matte finish clear. And these K4 decals are real good. They come with like a picture diagram or whatever to show you where they go and which ones go where on the sides and stuff. There's some that go on the fronts and the ends or whatever, and I didn't know where they go. I just put the numbers on there, that was it. Wasn't too much worried about it. But I think I got them all on the sides where they need to go. So the only thing was this picture, the car in the picture has more ribs on it than mine does. These are Athearn blue box cars I used. So I had to just take like this number here, and it's supposed to be over here, and just moved it in here with these, made it a little tighter. No big deal. Looks good, I think. So, but they come with like a description of the colors and where it goes and all that. So K4 decals are really good. And so we'll take a look at this one. I haven't weathered this one, so pretty good. I like it. Wasn't sure if I was going to weather them or not, but I want them to look a little dirty. So, and this one has been weathered a little bit. As you can see, not too bad. Just enough where it looks like it's been out there maybe for a couple years, if that. So it still looks good, but it still looks a little, it's got a little bit of road use. So how I did these was, after the clear dried real good, I just took the white paint here, mixed it with water, 50-50, just a little bit, and then took a paintbrush and just brushed it all on the car and let it dry and kind of toned down that colors, kind of toned the colors down just a hair. Plus it gave it I think a good base for the chalks to go on. So then I took my pastels here, these ones that I have, just any old pastel chalks, usually what I use. I got a whole bunch of them over there, and I used like the rust red color and put over the red here and there, and then did that on the white, brushed it down like it was coming down, and then put some on the tops, and on the walkways I did the rust red. But on the hatches up here I used the gray, just a little bit of gray. I don't know if you can really see it much or not, just give it a little dirty. And then I went back over the red with the gray just a little bit, and on the bottoms here I took the rust red first and worked my way up like that off the bottom of the hoppers there where the hatches are on each of those, and then a little bit in the chassis and stuff like that, and then went back with the gray and did the same thing to give it some like road grime or dirt or whatever. And then the trucks, I just painted them burnt umber with the craft paint and painted inside the wheels, and I still got the plastic wheels on there because I don't have any 33-inch metal wheels. I thought I did, but I don't. So I'll have to get some, switch them out here one of these days soon. And then added the Katy coupler, number 5. And I didn't clear it after I got it all weathered. I'm not going to, because when you clear over the pastels, it kind of kills it and you can't see it as good. So I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm not going to try to handle them that much, but you can always go back, you know, if you, by touching them and stuff, you can always add a little bit, no big deal. Only take you a couple minutes. So I think it turned out pretty good. Being weathered and stuff like that made them look like they're just a couple years old or so. So now we'll just I'm gonna go ahead and weather this other one real quick, and then take them over to the layout and run them behind Indiana and Ohio locomotive, I think, because they're the ones operating that line now. So that's what I'm gonna do, run behind one of the Indiana and Ohio locomotives. So I'll be back in a minute. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video on how I repainted these two Athearn blue box covered hopper cars into Fayette landmark cars. They're out of Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Don't go by that name anymore, I don't think. I think they changed their name years ago. But these cars would have been around, I think, in the early 70s, mid 70s, up to late 70s probably, somewhere around then. Maybe up into the 80s, I don't know. But they're probably long gone by now. Like I said, they changed their name. Don't go by that name anymore. There also was a Clinton landmark in Wilmington. They also have changed their name too, I believe, and don't have rail service anymore, nothing like that. But it's been on the line to Indiana and Ohio, operates from Cincinnati to Columbus, and that spot up there through Wilmington and Courthouse and all that. So this has probably been one of the engines, locomotives they would use to do some of the switching up through there. I think it sits down like Blanchester, see down Blanchester, and but I use chalks and mainly just chalks for the weathering. That's mainly what I use when I do some weathering. I don't do any real heavy weathering because I'm not really that good at it. I just do a light weathering. So I just use the chalk. So I think it turned out really nice. So may have to end up doing a couple more of these later on down the road. So I really like them. Really nice. And they would have been on the line I grew up on, one of them. So, but I hope you all enjoyed it. And thanks for watching.